The human experience is entirely made possible by light. The rods and cones that line our eyes depend on the interaction of visible photons, bouncing off objects and illuminating their surfaces in order for our brains to write the continuous picture of what we see and experience around us. When the sky goes dark, the world doesn't go dark with it, as humanity has found numerous ways to slice through the darkness. So then, if you think about it this way, perhaps the single most functional and understated tool in one's EDC arsenal is the flashlight, because your phone's torch can only throw so far and last so long. Born in the late 1890s and powered by crude dry cell batteries and a small incandescent bulb, that first portable electric flashlight would become the cornerstone, the blueprint of all the EDC favorites we know and love today. And with that, our guide of the best flashlights for everyday carry. Today, we're going to highlight our favorite EDC flashlights that help us illuminate the world around us. And before diving in and overviewing our top torch picks, stick around to the end, as we're going to be doing a side-by-side comparison of all the flashlights to show off throw, light quality, temperature, and more. So let's dive right in with our first pick from Olight. We know just how helpful it is to have a just get this pick right out of the gate, and as such, our selection for the best overall flashlight is the Olight Baton 4 Premium Edition. Trust us on this one, the Olight Baton 4 Premium Edition has a few tricks up its sleeve despite its relatively modest stature. Something you'll have to consider as you sort through the available EDC flashlight options is battery life. I mean, that goes for anything electronic nowadays. However, duration really depends on the mode being used. In other words, are you going to use the highest output setting consistently, or are you fine with a low mode for close-up applications? Depending on the job, you can often count on something like 50 to 60 hours, even 100 hours for full-sized, modern LED flashlights on their lowest settings before needing a recharge. However, Olight's Baton 4 Premium comes with its own battery case that extends the portable battery life to up to 190 days. That's not hours, that's days. When you consider that the flashlight also comes equipped with a maximum output of 1300 lumens, an IPX8 fully waterproof rating, a magnetic tail cap for charging, and a compact sub 3-inch design, the Baton 4 Premium Edition is a clear winner right out of the gate. Now 190 days is absolutely insane, and what's even more insane is the fact that the version 3 packed in just over 90 days of power with the charging case, and we thought that was a lot. This is a 42% increase in capacity, without a discernible size difference with the charging case or the flashlight itself. Given that one charge lasts about 30 days, the charging case allows you to recharge the 4's battery about 5 times over. The charging case isn't just convenient, but an integrated part of the whole system with handy EDC features itself. For example, the battery status indicator is up front and center and allows you to keep track of the 190-day capacity. What's more, the battery pack can actually control the flashlight when the flashlight is seated in the charger charging. Use the touch module, the same one as the battery status LED, press and hold to activate stepless dimming. Output stands at 1300 lumens and steps down to 600, 60, 12, and 0.5 lumens, as well as an extra strobe mode that rapidly pulses between the max 1300 lumen output and a lower setting of about half. Olight also upgraded the button infrastructure from the 3 to the 4. What was previously just a silicone button has been swapped for stainless steel, and now it's flanked by 2 rows of status LEDs. On the right hand side is a battery indicator, and on the left, a power or brightness indicator. What you're going to see as we run through most of our flashlights that pack in a lumen count well over 1000 lumens is that the flashlights will run hot with extended use. It is true that LEDs do tend to produce less heat than other emitters, as they tend to produce less infrared radiation. However, they still output energy, and this creates heat. This is exactly why a heat sink is built into the flashlight to absorb heat generated by LEDs and radiate it back into the surrounding air. But to do so, the heat will be dissipated through the external housing, which will cause the metal to heat up and become hot to the touch. So keep this in mind and safely operate the flashlight. Be mindful about where you store it after use, and just use common sense when handling the front element after it's been used for quite some time, especially at higher outputs. The Baton 4 Premium is no exception. Made out of aluminum, the thermal conductivity of the shell allows for a lot of heat to dissipate out from the heatsink, and the front element gets very hot very quickly. One of our only minor gripes. So when we mentioned 190 days, this is made possible by 2 factors. One, you have to use the lowest 0.5 moonlight mode, which will really only be useful in very dark situations for extremely close-up applications. And 2, this accounts for all the reserve capacity if you top off the portable battery pack. While the moonlight mode may not be useful for every everyday carry application per se, this can certainly be useful in emergency situations when you may not have access to electricity to charge up the torch as frequently as you normally would. The compact size is also a massive advantage over full-size flashlights while boasting just as much output. At just 2.48 inches, the form factor and attractive color options like this OD green version also added into our decision. It's attractive yet understated and machines in some serious grip. Adding quick USB-C charging infrastructure for the charging case, and it becomes clear why the Olight Baton 4 Premium Edition is a serious go-anywhere, do-anything contender. British inventor Sir David Missle's tubular flashlight, the one we mentioned in our introduction, only produced a handful of lumens, courtesy of 3 makeshift D-size batteries and an incandescent bulb. Now, over a century later, we're able to pocket a whopping 4,000 lumens and a form factor small enough for a keychain. Amazing, isn't it? The one that does this is the Nitecore TK4, and the quad LED configuration crowns it as our best high lumen pick, and you'll be hard pressed to find another this powerful and well built to date in such a small form factor. The power comes from 4 Cree XP-L2 V6 LEDs, which is double the amount of the other popular EDC Nitecore contender, the EDC 27, with a 3000 lumen output. The 4000 lumens throws up to 228 yards, and that's about 684 feet. And this output is available via turbo mode for about 10 seconds by holding down the topmost mode button on the front face of the TK4. The keychain flashlight also has 4 other brightness levels. High at 200 lumens, mid at 65 lumens, a low mode at 15 lumens, and an ultra low 1 lumen mode. And for comparison against the Olight, this ultra 1 lumen mode lasts for about 67 hours. Everything is operational from the OLED screen that displays your current mode, of which there are 2, brightness selection and a battery percentage. This is kind of Nitecore's signature, the OLED screen, on a lot of newer Nitecore models, and it's incredibly handy to keep track of battery percentage, so there are no surprises when it's time for a boost. Now back to the modes. There are 2 modes, Demo and Daily. The difference is that Demo will shut off your light after about 30 seconds without use, and this is the default mode that it's set to out of the box to preserve the battery. It's great for EDC and the busybody who may forget to shut it off after use, especially since the LEDs get blazing hot after extended use at a high setting. Daily simply keeps the light on indefinitely and is great for more than the occasional or brief use. And if you are going to keep it on daily, a friendly reminder to turn the light off after use. The heatsink gets really hot. Inside is a built-in 1000 mAh battery rechargeable via a USB-C infrastructure, and it can charge up in as little as 1.5 hours. And overall, the TK4 provides up to 67 hours of effective runtime per charge if you only use the lowest moonlight setting of about 1 lumen for close-up application. The TK4 is considered a keychain flashlight just because of its sub 4-inch size, but the square configuration of the front LED lattice might make the TK4 a little too large for some folks. This will of course vary depending on the person and what they prefer to carry on a keychain. The TK4 is 3.24 inches long by 1.15 inches wide, and although highly compact in proportion to the extremity of the output, may not be considered compact enough for a keychain. The exterior is finished in an anodized all-black process and is constructed from aircraft-grade aluminum, and it gives the TK4 a modest IP54 rating, which is semi-water resistant but certainly not enough protection for full submersion, so keep that in mind. Sometimes you can only pack in so much with an EDC object. Design considerations may sacrifice utility, or vice versa. However, the Acebeam E7 Mini Titanium really seems to rise above this conundrum and actually does kind of do it all. As such, the Acebeam E70 Mini Titanium is our pick for the best versatile flashlight, and here's why. It's the combination of a high CRI and a high lumen output, and it's all wrapped up in a colorful, stunning, and equally rugged exoskeleton crafted from a sandblasted titanium. The E70 Mini's maximum output is 1500 lumens, and builds in 6 total modes of brightness, all while maintaining a 90+ CRI. The dilemma with emitters is that LEDs optimized for CRI usually have a lower lumen count. The same holds true for the converse. That being said, Acebeam builds in 3 Nitecore 519A LEDs, and Acebeam's unique customized TRI lens that allows the E70 to shine far, 140 meters to be exact, and maintain accurate color throughout the entire output range in a pleasing neutral white 5000 Kelvin temperature. To activate the 6 modes, which are turbo, high to medium settings, a low and ultra low, double-click the end cap button. Then repeated half-second presses will allow you to toggle through the modes. Also, for emergency situations, when the flashlight is completely turned off, press and hold for another half second and you'll have access to a blindingly fast strobe mode. Now this E70 is the mini version, measuring up at 4.37 inches in length, which is definitely at the larger end of the EDC sweet spot. However, compared to the full-size version at 5 inches even, this more compact version is definitely better suited for the day-to-day. Under the sandblasted titanium skeleton is a bright blue aluminum body which maintains an IP68 rating against drops, dust, and moisture. And inside, the E70 Mini is powered with an 18650 battery, rechargeable with a built-in USB-C on the neck of the battery. At the ultra-low setting, you can expect about 100 hours of runtime. Also, like the E70 Mini Titanium, although you can certainly feel the heat from the front element radiating outward, the front end's titanium housing doesn't get extremely hot to the touch as fast as aluminum would. It makes sense as aluminum does have a far higher thermal conductivity than titanium. But like all our flashlights, you will experience some heat with extended use, even if it's not blistering hot to the touch. If you've ever looked for a fully American-made EDC flashlight, there are surprisingly few manufacturers who still produce these tools domestically. SureFire is one of them, and the Titan Plus is the second generation of one of their most popular keychain flashlights to date, shaping up as our best compact pick, although we could just as easily say our best American-made pick. The man behind SureFire is Dr. John Matthews, and he's a Caltech PhD who turned his passion for lasers into a business venture, supplying some of the best laser sights and flashlights for firearms. Since SureFire's inception in 1979, they've been a supplier of illumination gear to the US Armed Forces and law enforcement, and they continue those partnerships to this day, while also providing the general public access to the same high-tech gear. The SureFire Titan Plus is an ultra-compact keychain flashlight with 3 modes of brightness, 300 lumens, 75 lumens, and 15 lumens, and a matted nickel-plated brass body with a removable pocket clip able to withstand even the most extreme conditions. Or to put it officially, the keychain torch maintains an IPX7 rating. The Titan Plus sits at 3.3 inches long and weighs just 2 ounces with a single AAA battery installed, and it uses a twist activation style for its 3 modes of brightness. Inside, they built in a max vision beam high-performance LED capable of emitting, as we said, 300 lumens of brightness for up to 60 minutes with a maximum throw of 66 meters, 2 hours at 75 lumens, and 7 hours at its lowest 15 lumen setting. Operation is a little unconventional, so let's show you. Although the twist mechanism itself is straightforward, toggling through the modes of brightness requires you to twist counterclockwise and then clockwise again in succession to flip through the modes. Twist counterclockwise once to activate the lowest 15 lumen setting, then twist clockwise again to turn it off. A second turn counterclockwise will activate the 75 lumen setting, and repeating this process will produce the third and brightest 300 lumen mode, which doesn't produce any noticeable heat even with extended use. SureFire includes a rechargeable AAA battery, so this unit will be virtually maintenance-free, and it's great for the environment and is certainly a great choice for a person looking for a simple but effective keychain unit that's also backed by a lifetime warranty. Nothing quite says rugged like titanium EDC. There are a few great EDC flashlight contenders in this arena, and truth be told, we had trouble narrowing it down. So instead, we're going to focus on the best ultra-rugged pick, material aside, and that goes to Reylight with the Titanium Dawn Triple. The stonewashed titanium build and the hyper-rugged sharpness of the frag machining are two major components of our decision. Specifications aside, if you're searching for something that checks this box, in other words, looks as rugged as it's built, the frag grip pattern that wraps around the main body certainly fits the bill, as does the cap housing the LED infrastructure where you can stow away up to 12 tritium vials. As hard-wearing and cool-looking as it is with a full stonewash finish, the frag pattern goes a long way in terms of grip, and where others on this list may suffer with sleeker builds, the Titanium Dawn Triple shines, pardon the pun. The durability of the interior components also played a big role with our decision. The Reylight Titanium Dawn Triple uses a durable sapphire lens, a custom rubber cap molding to bolster the waterproof rating, has a silicone O-ring installed on the threaded cap assembly, custom titanium screws, reverse polarity and LVP or low voltage protection, and 3 stunning Nichia 519A 4000 Kelvin R9080 emitters. Speaking of, LEDs are absolutely fantastic in terms of output to draw ratio and are industry standard in the flashlight world. But they can be harsh to the eye, often an unsightly white or blue. You know the ones, the blinding blue headlights of that car racing toward you on the other side of the double yellow. However, the 4000 Kelvin rating is visibly warm and it builds in quality you'd normally expect of an incandescent. Here's an overview of operation, which is ridiculously simple. Turn on the light by pressing the end cap button to access the modes, to toggle through the brightness settings, of which there are 3 and a strobe mode. Gently press the end cap without the click of a full press, much as you would the Nitecore EDC 27 to toggle all the way up to around 1500 lumens at the maximum setting. There are also some programmable modes, but the setup for that is a little time intensive. Reylight lays this out in exact step-by-step details on their website, so if you're interested, go check that out. The Titanium Dawn Triple is powered by an unprotected and removable and rechargeable 18650 battery cell and does not come with a charger, so look to purchase one separately. Dimensionally, the Titanium Dawn Triple airs on the large side for EDC, and that's really the only negative here, albeit not a huge one. At 4.4 inches long, it has substantial presence. The torch also on paper says 4.5 ounces, but we weighed it with the internal 18650 installed, and our scales read 5.8 ounces. As such, it does feel fairly heavy compared to our other smaller EDC picks, and it's not just because of the battery. There's significant weight coming from the end of the torch where the pocket clip meets the button, and we think it probably has something to do with the button's internal infrastructure more than anything else. Also, like the E70 Mini Titanium, although you can certainly feel the heat from the front element radiating outward, the front end's titanium housing doesn't get extremely hot to the touch as fast as aluminum would. It makes sense as aluminum does have a far higher thermal conductivity than titanium. But like all our flashlights, you will experience some heat with extended use, even if it's not blistering hot to the touch. With all that being said, this would be a great pick for anyone who frequently wears a pair of utility or carpenter pants, but may not be the right choice for someone looking for a ghost-like, imperceptible presence on person. Flashlights are one of those EDC objects where function often takes precedence over form, but FocusWorks shows that flashlights can be just as much an EDC object of beauty as they can be functional EDC tools. With a half dozen available colors as well as a beautiful raw aluminum and titanium version, the FocusWorks F3 Flashlight is our pick for the best design-forward flashlight. Okay, well we got hands-on with a colorless version, that's true, but the colorful aluminum versions are equally fun, well-made, and excellent for EDC. This titanium version has an overall 4-inch length, a powerful 900 lumen Samsung LH351D 5000 Kelvin LED, and a 3.6 ounce weight. Running on a rechargeable that is outside of the flashlight on a charger 14500 battery, the F3 produces 900 lumens at the brightest setting. While it's not record-breaking and certainly not the most powerful on this list, as the TK4 has nearly 4.5 times the output, not everyone needs a blinding amount of illumination, and the F3's minimalist, well-machined form looks far more pleasing to the eye than the TK4 by any metrics. And if this is important to you, we have no doubt you'll resonate with the F3 despite the modest amount of brightness that it offers in comparison. The color temperature of the light is also equally important. Are you biased toward a colder emitter or a warmer emitter? Well, FocusWorks thought about this and provides two options you can select at checkout. Decide between ours here, the cooler 5000 Kelvin Samsung LH351D, or the slightly warmer 4000 Kelvin Nishia 219C. Modes are your typical offerings via a Q-Light driver, low, medium, high operation, with the aid of a rubber button at the torch's top, full press to turn on and off the flashlight, and half presses to cycle through the modes. It is true that we primarily chose the F3 as a great option for the design conscious, mainly because of the colorful aluminum options. The raw titanium option, however, although lacking in color, will be equally as beautiful on close inspection. The surface of the F3 has very subtle metallic texture that shimmers as it interacts with the light. With regular use, we could see the outside developing its own custom character, becoming an excellent heirloom-worthy contender. As a last note, keep in mind that we did experience a noticeable amount of heat much quicker than our other titanium picks, so handle the F3 with care after extended use at a high setting. American-made is a bigger deal than it may seem. Domestic jobs bolster local economies, stringent labor laws protect workers' rights, rigid standards uphold quality control, personalized customer care, quicker repair turnarounds, the list could go on and on. So we had to include a best American-made pick, and that title we've given to Laulima Metalcraft's Ion Slim Flashlight. We understand a lot of folks don't carry a flashlight for EDC, and that could be for a number of reasons. Top among them, practical use. In other words, they just don't see the benefit of taking up pocket space for something that's already built into a phone. The other is weight savings. Except for keychain flashlights, larger EDC flashlights can be heavy if they're not made out of something like titanium, and titanium can be harder to find and a bit costly. If you want to ensure your choice is lightweight and EDC friendly, but don't want to sacrifice good looks, the Ion Slim is certainly a top tier choice. We absolutely love the simplicity of the machining. It builds in just enough grip points to be functional, all while letting the bright, natural beauty of the aluminum shine. Included in every Ion Slim, no matter the base material, is a titanium deep carry pocket clip. This one's outfitted with black carbon screws. Your settings are typical, low, medium, and high, and are controlled by gently pressing the topmost rubber button at the base of the torch. On and off uses a full press until a gentle click is felt. Machined from aircraft-grade aluminum, the Ion Slim is only 2.9 ounces at 4.14 inches in length with the included AA battery. For example, the FocusWorks F3 Flashlight was also roughly 4 inches in length and weighed in at 3.6 ounces. This is all to say that aluminum is known for its lightweight properties, especially aircraft-grade. And although it's not as durable as titanium, look to aluminum over stainless steel if titanium isn't available or in your budget. Now on to the inside. Like we said, this version is powered by a standard AA battery, or you can choose a 14500 battery at checkout, and projected using an MCR18 coated aluminum reflector, producing around 1200 to 1300 lumens at its brightest setting and a 4500 Kelvin temperature. Like we said, aluminum is a very good thermal conductor, and as such we expected the Ion Slim to produce a sizable amount of heat around the front element. But to our surprise, it did very well and stayed much cooler than virtually all of our other full-size picks, with very little change in temperature at the highest output. There's also a camp of folk who don't really care so much about weight savings, so for them, the more premium and heavier copper or bronze options are also worth checking out, as they are equally beautiful among an already curated brass or copper EDC collection. We'll leave you with this. Laulima is the Hawaiian word for cooperation and collaboration. These values are just two of the reasons we value purchasing American-made products. Buying domestic goods supports the collaboration of craftsmen who wouldn't otherwise be able to compete with larger global mass production. Joshua Dawson of Dawson Machine Craft oversees the machining at his shop in Missouri, and Mitch Loom of Mitch Loom Machine Accessories manufactures each pocket clip and light engine in his Oregon shop. Together, the collaboration has produced one of the very best EDC flashlights in the space, all made possible by the conscious choice of EDC fans to buy a purposeful, American-made product. Our last pick is plucked from a past guide where we specifically highlighted our favorite keychain flashlights, compact, pint-sized units that still pack in and punch for EDC. One of our absolute favorites continues to be the Prometheus Lights Beta Magnetic, so we've chosen it as our best quick-release keychain pick for this guide. The Beta QRV2, for short, is one of the most popular from Prometheus Lights since their start in 2011 and has quickly become a mainstay in the space for the keychain flashlight's features, function integrating a high CRI LED, and attention to detail. The magnetic version of their unparalleled Beta QRV2 takes on a slightly smaller size by about 1/4 of the size of the regular Beta QRV2, measuring 3.2 inches long by 0.55 inches thick, and sizes down to 2.7 inches long without the magnetic QR mechanism attached for a total 1.2 ounce weight. This torch uses a lightweight Type 3 anodized 6061 aluminum, a process that forms extremely hard, abrasion-resistant porous oxide onto aluminum surfaces, which will keep the Beta QRV2's external appearance in good standing even if it lives with your keys on the day-to-day. Not to mention, it also maintains an IPX8 water resistance rating for submersion in water up to 1 meter. The original Beta QRV2 was credited with ushering in a new wave of flashlight LED technology adoption, renowned for its use of high CRI emitters. The Beta QRV2 Magnetic continues this legacy by using a UG BC3030 G04 LED emitter that boasts an incredible 95 plus CRI, which is virtually unheard of in a portable flashlight. While you may think accurate color rendition in a small keychain flashlight isn't really a big deal, for specific applications it could be paramount to have accurate color reproduction. Think restoring art, or checking the color of your car engine's oil, or even an EMT for checking skin tone in emergency situations. But what really makes the magnetic QRV2 stand out is just that, its magnetic activation. To engage the LED, simply disengage the contrasting gold magnetic keyring and the LED turns on. Re-engage and the LED will shut off. However, if you'd like to operate without the keyring, as you'd like to keep the keyring tethered to your keychain, you can simply twist the head on and off as you would with a keychain flashlight that didn't have this novel feature intentionally built in. Although the magnetic Beta QRV2 won't win any awards for output with a 40 lumen upper limit and a throw of just 10 meters or 33 feet, you will still be able to squeeze out a solid 2 hours of runtime from a single AAA battery. In our opinion, the Beta QRV2 Magnetic and the SureFire Titan Plus could go head-to-head, competing for the best keychain flashlight title, and we have pitted them against each other in our best EDC keychain flashlight guide. If you don't have time to watch that guide, and if you're having a hard time deciding which one is right for you, let us make it clear. If you value CRI and accurate color rendition, frequently finding yourself needing illumination for smaller tasks, and value the ability to quickly employ the flashlight without a lot of fuss, go with the Beta QRV2 magnetic over the brighter, less color accurate Titan Plus. Before we conclude, each and every flashlight is going to be better suited for a certain application, and that's exactly why we set up some defining qualifiers to help sort through our picks, as best we could to make it clear which specific flashlight shines for which specific purpose. However, it's also helpful to see a side-by-side to get a feeling of quality, temperature, and throw at the maximum output. As you can see, the clear winner in terms of output is going to be the Nitecore TK4. That's no surprise at 4000 lumens. You can also note the difference in color temperature. When you're examining your picks, the difference between 4000 Kelvin and 5000 Kelvin on paper doesn't sound like a big deal, but it does mean quite the difference in color temperature. We like the natural, warmer orange-pink look of the Reylight Dawn Triple as opposed to the whiter, cooler throw of something like the F3 from FocusWorks, but again, this is largely subjective. Also, as they all have sizable amounts of output over 1000 lumens, minus our select few keychain flashlights like the CRI Focus Beta QR Magnetic, it's worth spending time less so on the output and more so on the available features, user experience, and quality of the light when making your purchasing decision. For example, it's easy to get a feel for output on paper with the lumen count, but each flashlight uses a different reflector, so how does that actually affect the visible quality of the throw? Well, we hope that the side-by-side helps in this arena to fill in the gaps from our previous sections, if you were still wondering how they looked while put to the test. Okay, well that's a wrap for our roundup of the best EDC flashlights that money can buy. Recognizing that there are hundreds of options available, it was difficult to narrow it down, and we encourage you to keep shopping if you didn't find something you liked. We have comprehensive guides on HICONSUMPTION.com that lay out even more great picks as well. If you have the time, we suggest heading over there next if you haven't already, and as always, drop us a line below with your favorite EDC flashlight picks.